visits to your website is flattering, but it's not going to keep you in business, and it's not going to help you grow. New customers helps you grow.
Welcome to the Pet Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Skarlet Rockwood. As a content marketer for pet professionals, I love talking with other marketers and business owners in the pet industry and sharing their marketing advice with you. So join me for the latest episode and learn how to grow your audience, increase your revenue, and impact the lives of pets and their people. Lorne Sederoff has a passion for helping small businesses grow. He is the VP of Channel Partnerships at 𝐸𝐼, where he helps small business owners generate new clients using Google advertising. Today, Lorne is joining us to talk about the new Google Screened feature that is being made available to the pet industry, how it integrates with Google local service ads, and how you can use both to grow your pet business.
Hey, Lorne. So you are here today to tell us all about Google Ads and how they work and how a small pet business or a big pet business can use them to increase their business, yeah?
For sure. Thanks for having me, Skarlet.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and why it is that you're the person that's here that's talking about this and knows all about Google Ads.
You got it. So first off, my name is Lorne Sederoff. I am a VP of Partnerships over at 𝐸𝐼. I have 2 puppies and a family, and spend a lot of time walking them. And I love the industry. Don't know much about the pet boarding, pet grooming, and pet industry, but super happy to be here with you today, as I do know the Google advertising space. And I work with a lot of small and medium-sized businesses to make sure that Google's not the only company getting rich off of the advertising. And that's sort of usually the problem that people come to us with is they've tried advertising, they've spent a few $100s, but aside from looking at what keywords they're bidding on, it's hard to really know if it's working and if you're making money on your Google advertising. So that's what we do here at 𝐸𝐼.
Awesome. So what even is Google advertising? If I've never, ever put out a Google ad, I've heard about pay-per-click, but I assume that I know what it is because it kind of tells you what it is, but tell us a little bit about how the traditional Google ad would work.
So Google advertising, first and foremost, is how Google makes their money. So it's really important to understand that Google typically isn't giving away real estate on their page for free. The idea that, if you have a good website or a fast website will make you appear at the top of the page is a little outdated and a little unrealistic. Google is in the interest of their shareholders and making profit. And so they sell the space on the page. So what I would encourage anyone to do is just open up your phone and search for the keywords for your local market. A pet boarder near me, or, best plumber near me, or whatever it is that you're going to search for. And what you'll see is how Google sells the real estate on the page. And currently in the pet care industry, the top of the page is allocated to pay-per-click. And so what that means is you have a campaign where you're setting a budget, either a per day budget or a per month budget. And let's just use $10 a day, $300 a month. You have $10 worth of clicks. So if the words that you're bidding on cost $5 a click, you get 2 clicks a day, and then Google stops showing your ad and they'll show someone else's. If that click for that $5 does get clicked on, it visits your website. And so now think of it like you've paid $5 for a website visitor. That's fine. However, really for most small businesses trying to do this on their own, you can't just keep spending $5 on clicks and not know what's happening with them. At the end of the month, your $300, Google processes that money for sure, regardless of how many phone calls you got or web form fills or text messages you receive. So where 𝐸𝐼 fills in the space between small businesses and the Google engine is to track that money and make sure that if you get a phone call, that it's recorded and that we can listen to it and you can listen to it and say, okay, did that customer inquiry turn into a new customer? And so at the end of the month, that $300, we know how many new customers did you get for that $300, or how many new services did you provide, rather than just thinking of it as your clicks, because visits to your website is flattering, but it's not going to keep you in business and it's not going to help you grow. New customers helps you grow. So that's in a nutshell what pay-per-click is. You do need a budget and you need a website that converts with decent speed, that shows the person who's looking what they should do when they get to your website. So, we often look at people's website, they'll call and they'll say, should I advertise? And if their website looks like a little bit of a 1990s website, we'll say, you know what, why don't we share a couple examples of websites and see if you can update your website to make it a little bit more modern or mobile first, that kind of thing, Skarlet.
Awesome. That makes a lot of sense. And you did mention, I want to touch on how you're saying, Google only puts people who pay at the top of the page, and it's SEO as much as it's great and as much as you are. I talk all the time in content marketing about, how to get your search engine optimization set up right for your blog or whatever it is to try and get on that first page. And we're not saying that that's not worth doing, but you're never going to be at the top because the top is always going to be ads. So even the first organic listing on Google is going to be a little bit down the page with those, usually I think 3 ads that are at the top of the page first. And then now there's this really new, interesting type of ad that works totally differently, that's going even above that at the very tippy top of the page. And those are called Google local service ads, right?
Yeah, so you won't be able to see those yet in your market, but Skarlet, maybe you'll be able to share a visual. This is what's coming next. And our job at Search Kings is really to make sure that we tell our existing customers and our partners what's about to happen in the industry, because Google, they don't really sit still. They're looking for new ways to generate revenue and improve the search experience for customers. And so the challenge ultimately is pay-per-click has a little bit of a flaw to the whole model, and particularly in an industry like pet care, where trust is huge. Who's taking care of my puppy, right? And so I need to know that the company isn't just bidding more aggressively and paying more and have a fancy website, but actually who's behind the service. And with pay-per-click, there's no way of knowing who's behind the actual service unless you talk to the provider. What Google's doing, and they've already done this in other industries like lawyers, is they're creating a verified directory where Google is verifying that the pet boarder has actually proven to do good work. Their license, their insurance, there's a background check. All of these things have to pass in order for a pet boarder to show up at the very top, even above the pay-per-click. And so this verified directory is Google's way of saying, these are the companies that we have actually vetted, and we believe that these companies will give you the best service in your market. And you still pay for the leads, but it's pay per phone call. There's no website visits. So it's not a contest of who has the best website or the biggest budget. It's actually which companies have proven trustworthiness with the verifications, as well as Google reviews and phone call responsiveness, which is how quickly do you answer the phones, or are customers on hold? Simple things like that, Google's now tracking to decide who should we put at the top so that the customer's experience is the best it can be. So that's what's coming. It's rolling out into pet care as we speak throughout summer 2022. And it's pretty transformative, as we've seen in the legal industry. Anyone can just do a search, personal injury lawyer near me, or a air conditioning repair near me, and you can see the platform. This is what's on its way, Skarlet, to the pet care industry.
Awesome. So I think there's also something called Google Screened that's part of this, but not quite the same. So Google Screened is the actual screening process for the directory, right? And then the local service ads are the paid part. So can I get, if I'm a local pet business, can I get Google Screened without ever running ads? And what's the difference? Are these interchangeable terms, or is one different than the other?
So great question. The Google Screen badge is the verification that your company has been verified by Google. And so once you earn your Google Screen badge, your license and insurance have been submitted to Google. If you want to keep that badge year over year, you need to resubmit your insurance whenever it was set to expire, or your license if it was going to expire. And that's really all you need to do to keep your status as a screened or verified company. Google now puts you in the bucket of the trusted companies in your market. Should you want to advertise at the very, as you say, tippy top, I like that. If you want to advertise at the tippy top, then you can turn your ad on and you'll appear in the directory at the very top. What happens then is the phone calls get routed through a Google phone number to your business. Call gets recorded. At the 30-second mark of the call, you pay for that lead. So you can get Google Screened and then basically just keep your ads off, don't pay anything until you're ready to acquire new customers. And when you're ready for new clients or new customers, you turn your ad on and then you pay this set lead amount in your city.
Awesome. So someone can and should at this point get Google Screened as soon as they can, even if they never plan to run ads. Because at this point, if it were me, I would only be looking for people who are screened when I start to look for local services. Like now that this is a thing that's coming to the pet industry, just as much as it doesn't, people think you don't exist if you don't have a website, or if you don't have, like, people go and they look at your Google reviews. Now they're going to be looking for that little screened mark as well, which I think is a green star.
Yeah, it's like a green check mark, and it indicates Google Screened. What we are seeing is in some markets, you have one Google Screened company showing on the page, and then you have to scroll to get to the maps. In other markets, we've seen up to 3 Google Screened companies. So the whole search page on your mobile phone is only Google Screened companies. Now, I will tell you that if you turn off your ad so that you don't want to pay for leads, you won't appear at the top because you're outside of the paid space. So that Google won't show you because you don't want to pay the $12 for the phone call. But the way we consider it is you want to be in the verified directory so that when you're ready for new clients, you just turn on and you're at the top.
Yeah, so definitely get in there at first, and even if you're still deciding if you ever actually want to run any Google ads, because eventually someone who's not screened is going to just be passed by just as much as someone who doesn't have any reviews. So if someone wanted to go about doing this by themselves, what would that look like? How would I go about getting screened and running local service ads by myself?
Well, it's on Google. So Google Screened pet care. And by doing that, you have a couple choices. One, you can go directly through Google. You can sign up. It probably takes not a long time, probably a couple hours to get organized. And then you have to go through a background check process where it's scheduled through Google. You're looking at probably a 4 to 6 week timeline and a time commitment to make sure that you meet all the timelines outlined in the emails that come from Google. It's rare that you would have a customer support manager. So Google is a search tool. It's a technology company. It's not a customer support company. So you will be doing it on your own and you can navigate it. We believe in you. You can get it done and get verified. The alternative and the support that we offer is we do that as like VIP onboarding. We have access and the ability to onboard and scale to save our clients significant time. So instead of 4 or 5 hours. It might be 30 minutes. And we get everything we need from you and you're all set to go. Probably takes us that same amount of time, maybe a little bit less than you would, but we have a team to do that. So sometimes clients will call us saying, I started the process, but I can't figure out where I am, or it says that I am, they're still waiting on something, but I already submitted it and I'm starting to waste time. And so they call us at that point. But I encourage everyone to get Google screened, regardless of, if you want to do it yourself or if you want to use Search Kings. We are here to make life easier so you can focus on taking care of those puppies.
Yeah, exactly. The example I like to use is, if you're elbow deep in a tub of grooming dogs every day, like you usually don't spend a lot of time sitting down in front of a computer. And as a marketer, that's foreign to me, but I know there are people who don't even open their computer during a workday. And think about trying to keep up with all of that. I cannot even fathom how complicated and like frustrating it might be to try and do it on your own. So I think it's really awesome that you and Search Kings are there to help if that's something somebody wants help with. How would somebody reach out to you, Lorne, if they wanted to have any questions about the local service ads or getting screened, or if they would like to, hire Search Kings to help?
Well, they can certainly look us up. We're Search Kings, and you can find us. You can Google Search Kings, Google Screened. We'll show up there as well. You can always reach out through you, Skarlet, and I'll be sure to share my information. My first name is Lorne at searchkings.com. And you can check us out. We'd be glad to take care of you. I would say mention Skarlet so we can give you some extra VIP service. Tippy top.
Yeah, awesome. So for those of you who are listening or those that are watching on video, I'm going to have the link to the show notes, very obvious and easy in the description of where you are listening or watching. And we will make sure that we get some links to your page. You've got a page that's set up that talks all about local service ads and Google Screened and has some more information there. And I'll also list how to reach out to Lorne, and we'll make sure that you do use my name. So tell people that Skarlet sent you, and we will give you a little bit of a discount on how on like the setup and things like that. So definitely reach out if you have any questions and you don't want to go it alone. But either way, definitely get yourself screened and think about those local service ads if you are a pet business in the local area that like works within a local area.
Thanks for having me, Skarlet. We didn't get into like how much the actual leads cost in each city, but I do have that information if anyone wants to reach out to searchkings.com, and you could just simply, let us know that you listen to Skarlet and you're curious as to the lead price in your market. We'll make sure we give you that information and save you a lot of time. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for coming.
What was your favorite thing about this episode? Hit me up on Instagram at Skarlet Rockwood to tell me about it or ask any questions that you have about marketing your own pet business. If you know other pet professionals who would love this podcast, go ahead and screenshot this episode and share it to your Instagram stories. Be sure to tag me when you do, because seeing who's listening and hearing your feedback is 100% what motivates me to keep doing what I do. You can also join the Content Marketing for Pet Professionals Facebook group to connect with other pet industry professionals like you. If you'd like to follow up on any of the resources or links mentioned in this episode, you can find them in the show notes. Don't forget to be awesome, and I'll see you in the next episode.